The theme of this week is that Microsoft is like, screw the consumer market. We're out of here. I don't think our children are going to grow up in a world where like buying a consumer Windows laptop is a thing.
These children do not know about Microsoft. Sean, they know about Xbox, right?
We're raising a generation of gamers, and they're all going to switch to Linux.
Did you hear that? Those are not Linux content creators or Linux enthusiasts talking. That was a mainstream tech news outlet. And wow, we need to break this down because when I first heard this, I was kind of stunned and a little bit excited. Look, I know we all want Linux to gain a lot of market share, but to hear three prominent tech journalists essentially predict and kind of hope for the complete death of Windows consumer devices, that's a pretty massive mic drop. Hey everybody, Jason here. Welcome back to Linux for Everyone and welcome home. If you're watching this, chances are pretty high that you grew up using Windows. Maybe it was 98, XP, 2000. Doesn't matter where you started, you've probably got that Windows muscle memory. But kids today, they don't learn Windows, they learn apps and experiences. They learn Steam, Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. And at school, they're mostly using Chromebooks and iPads. I sit here and I daydream about Linux market share hitting 7 to 10% because I feel like that's when all the app and game developers will truly start paying attention and tip the scales. But I honestly never thought about the possibility of Windows, at least for consumers, completely disappearing. But the numbers behind Microsoft's business paint a pretty interesting picture that might support a version of that future. So according to Microsoft's own 2024 filing, Windows makes up only 10% of the company's total revenue. Elsewhere, you've got 40% coming from server and associated cloud services, 22% from Office and its associated cloud services, 9% from gaming, 7% from LinkedIn, 5% from search and news ads, which is basically Bing, and 2% from devices. So 4 decades ago, beginning in about 1985, Microsoft started building its entire empire on Windows, and now it's making 1% more than gaming and 3% more than LinkedIn. That's kind of wild. And I don't know how much thought Joanna Stern put into this.
These children do not know about Microsoft. Sean, they know about Xbox, right?
But she nailed it. She's absolutely right. Windows now is just this invisible but necessary, well, maybe increasingly unnecessary thing that gets them to the experience that they want. I don't think kids care what OS they're on. They care that their games launch, and they care that they can play those games with their friends. Windows just isn't the platform anymore. Game Pass is the platform. Cloud gaming is the platform. Steam is the platform.
We're raising a generation of gamers, and they're all going to switch to Linux.
Can you imagine hearing that same quote, 5 to 7 years ago, and just trying to believe it and not really being able to? But that works now because it's believable now. The Steam Deck has normalized Linux gaming. Proton has shattered the whole Linux can't play games myth into pieces. And, we've got 90% compatibility, rough compatibility right now, and it's getting better exponentially. Gaming just isn't locked down to Windows anymore. Not from a technical perspective and not culturally either. And we all know the situation with Windows is getting worse and worse. The forced online accounts, Copilot and AI and ads everywhere. And Windows just constantly gets in your way when you're trying to do basic things. Meanwhile, Linux is over here quietly playing the long game, kind of like Valve has been, and getting faster and more intuitive every single year, allowing you to make your PC personal again. And there's still no ads and no AI to be found. And don't get me wrong, this is a very slow burn. You don't really see it happening from month to month, but you see it pretty clearly if you look at where Linux was only 5 or 6 years ago. Whether they were all joking or not, and I don't really think that they were, they're right. Kids aren't going to stop using Windows because it's bad. They're going to stop using it because it's no longer inevitable. It's not the assumed default anymore. I mean, 5 years forward from today, maybe Microsoft won't depend on Windows. I don't think kids are depending on Windows. Gamers are increasingly not depending on Windows.
I want Windows to die.
So maybe the question isn't, will kids all switch to Linux? The question is, when the dominant OS just stops mattering, what's there to fill the gap? And right now, Linux is quietly becoming the default answer. Whether that's a gaming-focused flavor like Nobara or Bazite, an elegant beginner-friendly choice like Linux Mint or Zorin OS, or a Steam machine, or a Steam Deck, or another handheld PC powered by SteamOS. For the first time in decades, it feels like there is space for something else to organically take the place of Windows. Not because a small percentage of Linux enthusiasts wants that to happen, but because it's increasingly becoming the natural choice, the logical choice, the sane choice. And if I've noticed one thing about Linux in the past year or two, it's that seemingly everyone is starting to wake up and become aware of it. Thanks a bunch for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, please click that like button. And if you like the vibe around here, maybe click subscribe and leave a comment for sure. Let me know what your thoughts are about this whole topic, because it's fascinating to me. Anyway, thanks a lot for being here. And until we chat again, take care and take care of each other.